Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you Sunday, November the 15th, the year's 2020. Let's talk trading. It's time for the weekly open and gap. Just so you know, these videos are for educational purposes only, and your results may differ from mine. Looking at the weekly chart here, we're 6 hours into the trading day on my platform, and you can see we've got one, two, three pairs that haven't filled the gap. Now, last week we had a very interesting week. We had a bunch that haven't filled the gap. The pound dollar gap down, and it's filled that gap. And I don't know what was going on with the broker, but when I looked at it, the spread was as high as 30 pips. I don't know what shenanigans they were pulling, but it was just ridiculous. Now you can see here, there's an unfilled gap right here. You can see there's the close, there's the open. So actually that gap did get filled right here last week. But that's just something to note that, these gaps usually get filled, sometimes not on the same week, but a lot of times they do get filled. Just like the weekly pivots get filled. So you can see here, this weekly pivot almost got filled last week. This weekly pivot didn't get filled last week. But you can see the other ones, for the most part, have been filled. There's one down here that hasn't been filled. We'll see that in a little bit. Now, we are only 7 pips below the yearly open. That's huge. We're definitely in the opening range for the year. We're way outside it, the opening range for the month. Once again, just 18 pips below. The yearly open, we're 308 pips above the monthly open. And you can see here, once again, we shot out of the inside bar from last month. You can see that. You can see there's the weekly inside bar, the last daily inside bar. So prices moved out. But you can see on the monthly, we have a bunch of inside bars this month. Not too much action though on the daily and weekly at the moment. We'll have to see how that plays out. Once again, only 6 hours. Nothing's really ranged much. Nothing over 100. Pound sitting at 73. So rats, you can get ready. In fact, I was asking about the rat zone. Should he only trade in one direction? Yeah, at first, pick one direction. Cut down on the variables. I think I might have mentioned this last week. And just do that. You can see here we had the pivot below the open, but inside the zone, not much of a bias, but did take out that daily pivot and went through it, crossed above it, hit the buy zone, and price took off. And here on the rat zone, usually we show the 15-minute. And you can see what price is doing. We're in that upper rat zone. Be careful though, if you take that trade. Weekly pivot for this week's been taken out. Once again, we can see the weekly pivot's been taken out. So we still have 3 open pivots so far this year. On the daily side, the daily's been taken out. This pivot from a couple of days ago looks like it might get taken out. This pivot from 6 days ago, not so much at the moment. Wick zone, there wasn't a wick zone. The close and the high were one and the same, and price touched it, reversed and then shot right through it. And looking at the range chart, I guess I need to add this template back to the other video templates. In fact, few people asked about these templates I use, and sometimes I send them out, but the thing is, I use indicators from different years, the donationals. So there might be a 2010 on one and a 2014 on another and a 2016 on another. So I send you these templates, they're not going to work unless you get all the donationals. Um, so, that's why a lot of times I will, show you what indicators are on what chart. In fact, I remember probably about a year ago I said I should do that all the time, but I usually forget. So maybe I'll do that right now. So I'll leave them up for a few seconds so you can pause the video in case there's one of these templates that you would really like to have. Um, and you can see what indicators you need. So in this case, see there's two different donationals and nothing from this donational year. Oh, and somebody asked me about the donations. If you donate for 2020, do you get them all? No, because that wouldn't be fair to the other people. So it's one donation per year. And or you can specify, like, if you want the 20, say if you want the 2014s, you can send it, the donation and say, out, send me the 2014s. And so, like in this particular case, we've got a 2014 indicator there. Oh, and anywhere, if you donate 2017, 18, 19, or 2020, you do get the dashboard because people really want the dashboard. And I've been doing updates all along, adding functions to it. So, and I've just been including it. The reason I haven't made a different dashboard each year is one, the next update is going to be huge. It's going to take a real long time to do it if I ever get around to doing it. Um, and two, there's just so many functions. Um, I just didn't want to, have to, keep changing year to year. Plus, if somebody has a 2017, they have a bunch of templates, and then they get to 2018, then they're going to have to either go through and redo all their templates or go through and edit the templates, changing 2017 to 2018, and it can be a pain. Trust me, I know, because I've had to do it a few times. Just moving on here. Okay, once again, a couple 2017 indicators. And here again, the dashboard. And so if it doesn't have TRO followed by a year, then that's just one of the mother load indicators that you can download from the places where I upload my indicator. So here you've got a 2016 indicator, 2020, the smart rat zone here, along with the rat zone. And then on this one, there's an indicator that I modified, the SDK pivots, and then I modified the buttons. And this one, you got the miss pivot, the multi-pair here, and then these just miss pivots and the miss pivot plot. And as you can see, this is just the 2014, the wick zone, high, top, bottom, low. That's what that stands for. But so a lot of people think this is a bunch of indicators when it's just all one, with the exception of the indicator template name there. And then here, I think I already showed this once before. Just all smart ranges loaded up a bunch of times. And anytime you see an indicator loaded up more than once, you have to go into the indicator and give it a unique tag for each instance. So here, that's tag 1, that's tag 2. You can give it whatever number you want. You could give it, tag 99,000 or something, just so long as it's not the same as any other. That way, what happens is when it makes the objects, it uses that tag um, in the object name. So let's see. So here you can see a bunch of, let's see, is that, yeah, a bunch of like 1s and then 2s and then 4s. So that keeps these all different. Okay, this chart, wanted just a simple trading chart. Once again, smart ranges, smart rat zone, exit playbook indicator, which I think I turned that off in this particular case. And then simple, the price action screen, the one that I try to get new traders to start with, just so they can not be concentrating on indicators per se, just horizontal lines that you don't even need an indicator to use it. In fact, one trader wants it so every other zone is a different shade, and he was asking me if there's an indicator out there that does it. It's like I thought I'd seen one time, but I don't know. So he probably wants me to code it. I may or may not. I'm not sure. Um, it's just one of those things. I think it's so easy to fool yourself into believing certain things. And so that's why sometimes when people say, well, can you code this? I go, well, why? What is it you're trying to accomplish? Because if you really can't explain it, then how do you know what you're doing? As Deming says, if you can't explain what you're doing as a process, then you don't know what you're doing. And it really is so true. Um, and it's something that I keep in mind when I'm making videos and when I'm doing things, that have nothing at all to do with trading. If I can't explain it as a process, then I really do not know what I'm doing. Whether it's, making something to eat, fixing a car or truck or something, um, or even shooting pool. There's certain things that, if you can't explain what you're doing as a process, then you really don't know what you're doing. So I think that just about wraps up the this video on the weekly open and gap. See, I think I showed you these indicators right here. Yeah. So I hope that helps. Yeah, in case you wonder about these screens, it's just the My Notes indicator with the Drain the Banks tag indicator. So, fellow traders, I hope you had a fun, safe weekend. Here in the great state of Oregon, we're going to be going into lockdown on Wednesday, the 18th. Our governor has seen fit to make our lives even more miserable. So, anyway, that's kind of a side note. Just remember when you sit down to your trading platform and start trading, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So I want you all to go out there and drain the banks this week. And if you're new here, welcome aboard. And I guess I really am supposed to say that at the beginning because maybe some people aren't watching the videos to the end. But anyway, welcome aboard. Click subscribe, click like, share the video all over the internet, and click the bell. That way you know when I upload a new video. So that's it for now. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.